This episode of Burning Daylight has been brought to you by Stetson Ranches out of Fromberg, Montana. Stetson Ranches is a multi-generational ranch family. It's a diversified outfit focusing on, but they really focus on the things that matter in any good working ranch, and that's horses and cattle. They got some of the best quarter horses that you can buy. Tina's done just a phenomenal job of finding, selecting, and purchasing some of the best quarter horse bloodlines that you can buy. These are old school foundation lines going back to Zanpar Bar, Two-Eyed Jack, Peppy Sand Badger, and Doc Bar, just to name a few. And they're big, shapy, athletic. They got a great mind to them, and they're breeding them back to some of the best studs. Going to spit out a colt that's just going to be ready to go any direction you want to take them. And I think I mentioned already, but they got a good mind, so they're really going to do well. Just excellent line of horses that they got there. They've also got some the best beef on earth, and that can be shipped to your doorstep for $125 a month. Every month, you're going to get a package of hamburger, steak, roasts, and selected cuts. Oh, yeah. Hamburger, steak, stew meat, hamburger, roast, stew meat, and selected cuts of steak. About somewhere between 8 to 11 pounds is what you're going to get. And shipped right to your doorstep. It's excellent beef. They're running registered Black Angus cows, breeding them back to registered Hereford bulls. It's going to give you an F1 Black Baldy cross. And not that you really even care about that. Some people might. Most people probably don't. But what that means, that calf is going to hit the bunk, going to take off, and it's gonna grow fast, and it's gonna be some of the best beef you've ever had. So anyhow, go check them out online, StetsonRanches.com for any of the horse stuff, StetsonBeef.com. Use the promo code MOVEYOURASS, MOVEYERASS. You get 20% off your first month, and it's a great family, great people, and go check them out. They'll treat you right. Next up, we got Jake Houston. He's the official bootmaker of Burning Daylight. Got a little shop, whatever you want to call it. He's got a little business called Houston Boot Company out of Virginia City, Nevada. That's where his shop's located. And this guy does just really awesome work. The boots he built for me fit like a glove from day one. They look awesome, and just a really good guy. You're gonna spend a little bit more than you would on a pair of air yachts, but they're gonna fit a hell of a lot better. And he's gonna stand by his work, and everything's custom, like 100% custom. He measures you by hand. If you can't make it where you can meet up with him, he'll send you a kit out there. But he really prefers if he measures you by hand, and he uses the best quality materials, and does just everything he can to make it a pair of boots for your foot. And I mean, he does an awesome job. Go check him out at Houston Boot Co. on Instagram. And if you'd like to get a hold of him in person, give him a holler, 775-315-3022. And make sure you told him you heard about it on Burning Daylight. Next up, we got Thunderbird Equine, Miss Jessica Pancost out of Northern Colorado. And she is taking clients for the month of May, or for the month of June. She's focusing on vaquero-style horsemanship for your colt, horse, or mule. We'll get practical ranch-type experience from a second-generation trainer and a third-generation rancher. Your horse will also get roping experience, on head and heeling breakaway and ranch roping of all kinds. Colts will be, she starts colts, and she requires 60 days minimum on them. Owners can expect a quiet, confident, and respectful colt with all the right tools to move on any discipline of your choice. Horses and mules in for finishing also require 60 days minimum and can be expected to develop a harder stop, collected frames, precise movements through leg cues, and your horse or mule will develop the confidence to do anything you would like under saddle, whether that be mounted shooting, roping, and trail riding, or cattle work. At the end of the program, you will receive 5 free lessons to reacquaint yourself with your new equine partner. Send Jessica a message on Facebook or give her a holler 720-205-2996 to book your spot. Jessica's a great gal. Looks like she does awesome work with horses, and yeah, she's good people. So go check her out and tell her that you heard about it on Burning Daylight. And finally, last but not least, we got Cardomax. Cardomax is a newer sponsor. They're veteran-owned and operated. Actually, a former Navy SEAL started the company, and they sell, I get drink supplements, is I guess what you'd call it. Anyway, I got some stuff here. I use the immunity booster because in the days of COVID, need to strengthen your immune system, but this stuff's got what's it got? It's got ginseng, Shandra, something else. I don't know. It's all natural. It's good stuff. I really don't know what all's in it other than ginseng root, but I like it. I drink it every day, and you should too. So head over to cardomax.com. Use the promo code Move Your Ass and you get 10% off. It's good stuff. It's good to keep your body healthy, keep your immune system strong, and that's what this is for. So anyway, and they're all veteran owned and operated, so that's pretty rad too. So check them out, cardomax.com/burning daylight, or no, I don't know, promo code Burning Daylight. Anyhow, thanks for checking out the sponsors. If you'd like to contribute personally, head over to patreon.com/burning daylight, and you get access to a bunch of extra content and some giveaways. This month we are, well, I guess it'd be, we're in June now, right? Yeah. It's June 2nd. So we're in June. So this month we'll be giving it away on the 4th, but you'll get a custom, according to myself, snaffle bit from Matt Wilson. And we're going to make it America themed. It's going to be rad. Not sure what all is going to be on it, but I got him booked to do it, and it's going to be awesome. So make sure you get signed up at Patreon. You have to be at the $5 level or more to enter for the bit. We'll still give away something for the $1 members, but it won't be that cool. Anyhow, man, I sure appreciate you guys supporting me throughout this whole deal. It's pretty damn cool. Anyhow, got a good show, so let's get into it.
Rise up in the morning beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight. Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Happy Friday. The weekend is upon us. And it's the unofficial first weekend of summer since Memorial Day is Memorial Day is the unofficial start of summer. So This will be the first weekend of summer unofficially. I'm not for sure. Hey, AMC stock is doing well. And I'm not a financial advisor by any means. But you got $100 to throw at it. Probably wouldn't hurt. Anyhow, it's a good episode today. TeJay Fenster and Dakota Robinson and Ben Zimmerman joined us for a little bit till his phone died. He's up in the middle of Montana. No service. And either way, we enjoyed having them on anyhow. And we just talked a whole bunch of cowboy shit. And I think you're going to like it. So anyways, let's get into the show.
Burning daylight, burning daylight, in the saddle till the job's done right. Burning daylight, well, life is just a gather, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight, burning daylight, in the saddle till the job's done right.
Off bank, and this pack was 200 yards on either side of the bank, like just rocking and rolling.
We I guess it's been about a week. Yeah, I think it was last week. Maybe it was like a week and a half, something like that. But it wasn't very damn long ago. It was 97 today. The last week or week and a half ago, it started. I came in to work with a jean jacket, and I almost put my wild drag on. And I thought, no, it's supposed to warm up to 60 today. It'd be good. And I get about quarter of the way through my pins, and it blows in and rains and snows and like big old fat snowflakes. And then like got to where it was almost unbearable. I was gonna just about hightail it back to the barn and grab another coat, but then it like blew over. Sun came out, and this is about 8 o'clock by this point, and then stayed nice and sunny for about 20 minutes, and then another little squall blew in, and I for sure went back and got my big wool coat that time, because it's amazing when you get a little bit of warmth how deacclimated you get to the cold. It wouldn't have been a very bad squall 2 months ago. I wouldn't have even thought much of it, but that day it was cold son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It don't take very many nice days to have one cold day, and all of a sudden it's colder than it felt, and then it's only 40 or so, and you're like, shit. 2 months ago, I was in a sweatshirt. Just
I know. Now you're about to freeze your ass off.
I'm kind of experiencing the opposite right now. I lived for years with next to no humidity, and now that I'm back down here, holy shit! Like I walk out of the house in the morning, immediately just start sweating.
Yeah, your forearms start sweating. I always figured that's when it's too humid, when like your forearms just start sweating. Like, I didn't know there were sweat glands in your forearms until I went to South Texas.
Yeah. That humidity is retarded. I spent a couple years right there on the Kansas border, and holy shit. I'm from Wyoming. We have no humidity. Like 89 degrees doesn't feel that bad. Man, 70 degrees over there, I thought I was dying.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that stuff is nasty. Just nasty. I don't know where Ben's at, but well, if he makes it, he'll make it. But anyhow, we're going live now. It says live earlier, but we're live for real now, for shizzle.
Oh shit.
Go for it.
So what, you still just shoeing horses and just making a living? What the hell are you doing down there with Dakota?
Yeah, shoeing horses, day thugging, really getting into some amateur tattoo art,
Hell
just
yes.
really trying to stay well-rounded.
Get your application out to the real world.
That's right. Yeah. But no, mostly just shoeing horses. That's kept me pretty busy so far.
Yeah, I hear that amateur tattoo art doesn't pay the greatest. I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's the word on the streets.
Right. Well,
there you go. But, you getting any outside horses road, or you just kind of busy shoeing?
Oh, I've taken a couple in since I've been down here, but it started raining so much that I just turned horses away. I was like, it rains every day right now. I don't really have anywhere to ride. I do have a covered arena, but it requires getting wet between here and there. So
everything's just soggy.
Like a little bitch right then. Okay, the covered arena is a ways from the house, in my defense.
Well, that makes sense. But yeah, I can't blame you. That's man, I've never lived anywhere where it rains a whole lot, so
right.
I don't understand that feeling of just. It seems I could see how people up in Portland and Seattle, they have like some of the highest suicide rates even before Antifa took over. I can't imagine what it's like now. How many of those Antifa fucks do you think are suicidal? Because they don't seem healthy.
Oh, there's got to be a very, very large number. I'd say at least 75% of them.
Yeah, and that's the QAnon people are just about as crazy, but I don't think they're suicidal though. Homicidal, maybe.
You ever see a list of like all their mugshots after they arrest a bunch of them? There's not like a quote unquote normal looking one out of all of them.
No.
Wow. I hate to judge anybody, but goodness.
Yeah. And then like that Kenosha kid, like I don't approve of that guy being anywhere near that whole situation. But when you see the guys that he took out, I mean, it's hard to be mad at him.
Right.
Yeah, you kind of just want to maybe give him a little fist bump there, like you probably did the world of justice.
It's kind of like where you give him a fist bump as he's going to prison. Like, yeah, dude, you're probably going to get raped, but that was, you did the world a service there. I mean,
yeah. So
I don't know. It's wild. Hey, I think we've officially hit peak simulation theory, though. If you guys want to want me to entertain you on this idea.
Go ahead.
Shoot, brother.
We've got the Republican Party backing a trans woman for governor of California. I think the culture war is lost. I think I think you just chalk that up in the lost column. The simulation is complete.
It's done.
It is now made full circle.
Yeah, you got the party of that fought gay marriage tooth and nail. They had the transgender bathroom bills. They had still going the transgender sporting bills that they got in all these states. But they're supporting Caitlyn Jenner for governor of California, which, in their defense, that person probably better than Gavin Newsom. Not that that's saying much, but
it's still technically a guy, you know, if you wanted to really get technical.
I don't know. Did he get that thing lopped off or no?
I don't know. Give him 2 Viagra and find out.
Yeah, there you go. I wish this podcast was sponsored by Roman or Blue Chew or something. We could go right into an ad read for that. But no, like, do you wonder? I always wonder, like, if does he like dry it out like rawhide and just like keep it on a keychain when it's after the surgery, or how's that work? Or do they repurpose it to make the new one? I don't know.
He probably put it in a glass jar and just
like formaldehyde.
Somebody comes over, he's like, "Hey, check it out."
There's like that one bar up in Alaska where they had like the dried toe or something, and they'd put it in a shot, and you had to pay like $20 to take a shot with the toe. Like, this is the same thing with Bruce Jenner's dick.
You don't try dick.
It's a swizzle. It's a swizzle stick. Oh,
no,
what? Yeah, simulation's complete, fellas. The simulation is complete.
Yeah, the world has officially gone to shit.
I know. That's all right. We'll just tell jokes as it all burns down. That's my plan.
Pretty much.
That's my
Keep
plan.
Punching cows.
I really hope somebody comes up with like a really funny Pride logo so I can sell the shit out of it and try to turn my buddy Tim gay. That would be funny.
Man, I'm honestly, I was thinking about that today, trying to think of what would be a pretty damn good one. I haven't come up with nothing yet, but
I really want to see what I can get away with before people start reporting me for being like homophobic or transphobic. But because so far I've used the Queers Love Us, the Rootiness Tootiness Queerness podcast in the West. I did a fake Ellen DeGeneres quote, safe space for lesbos of all flavors. And yeah, I got some other ones. I don't really know who are any famous. Oh, I'm going to do a Jesse Smollett one. A fake Jesse Smollett quote. Like, burning daylight attacked my ears with gayness. I think that's what the quote I'm going to use for his.
Oh shit! What do you think of the old JBS cyber attack?
You know, I don't know what to think of that yet, because I've seen some theories floating around how it was another market manipulation, which I'm not above thinking. I think that's well within the realm of possibility. I know, like, either the media or like the Republicans are calling out Russia. It's amazing how they were talking about how Russia wasn't part of the deal when Trump was in office, but now it's a big Russia attack. I don't know. Something doesn't seem right about it. I don't know what that might be, but
I don't necessarily think it's a deal with a foreign country or any political. I think it was a marketing, because the whole thing is like, it was cyber attack, but cattle were still being killed and were still there to get killed. Like, they were still running physically. Yeah. They just weren't online. So what happened to that?
Yeah, and then I heard something about, like, on that pipeline hack that, you know, they paid the ransom within a couple hours of that thing going offline. And so, like, they were back online pretty quick, but they didn't get fuel to the southeast or the east coast for like almost a week or some shit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so, like, they're saying it might have been a pipeline leak, and they're just like not wanting to come out with that yet. And I don't know. That seems kind of like something like that's going on with the JBS too. But I'm kind of waiting to see some better analysis of it. It's you've got a lot of like the RCAF type people talking like it's a big conspiracy, which I'm not. Like I said, I'm not opposed to that idea. I'd like to see something. Yeah, I'd like to see something before we delve off into that, because that shit gets a little that gets a little out of hand if you look at the events of the last year or so. Shit like that can get out of hand.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but there's some. Oh, go ahead.
They had a meme on Facebook there. It was something about cyber attackers wanting 10 million in ransom. JBS replied that they'd give them 2 million and they had 3 weeks time to buy out. Old habits die hard.
No shit. That's about right. They I worked for JBS 5 Rivers, and that's an interest. That whole corporate world is that's something else. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine that he worked down there for a little while, not a very long time, and then he worked. I think he was at Cactus for a while too.
Yeah, but Cactus is a little better, but still, it's all corporate. That's once you get that big, I don't know. At some point, like you just get too big. Like
Yep.
What do you think about all this? All these lawsuits against Facebook and Google and shit. I don't know. I don't see them going anywhere. I wish they would, but no. I don't see them going anywhere.
You got the Google and Facebook are in cahoots too far deep with the people in power. I just don't see them. Yeah. Don't see it happening. I wish it would. I truly do, but it ain't.
Yeah. On a good note though, that episode I did with Trey Wasserberger has been getting a lot of downloads. Not quite like Boots level of downloads, but it's been doing well, and I've been trying to share it to some bigger podcasts. I'd like to get him on some bigger shows too. So like kind of spread just spread the word out. I think that's I don't even know if it's a feasible project, but I hope it gets off the ground and gets going, because at least there's somebody trying to do something.
Yeah, they're making waves. I mean, they're like in this part of the world, because North Platte's only 2 hours from me, and and they're damn sure reaching out, trying to get some shit done. It's just whether or not they can get it done at all.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people behind them hoping they do. You know, like Trey said, it's not about taking out the big guys; it's just getting a piece of the pie.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think something like this could. I mean, it's always the guy that starts anything new is always considered the crazy person until it works, and then everybody else is scrambling to keep up with him. So, I think if they can get that thing up and running, I think people be really surprised at how that thing takes off. Like just how the whole, whether it be regional packers, like local packers, or just direct to consumer type stuff. I mean, that is all that shit has exploded in the past year, and I don't see it slowing down. I think people realize that you can go right down the road to a rancher and buy some beef. They're like, hey, I kind of like that. So I think you're going to see more of that.
There's two places right around me here that are within 50 miles, either direction of North Platte or myself, and they're that way. You go straight to the place and go right from them packers, and it's direct to consumer, and those places have just taken off with how it's going. But North Platte being a big enough town, I could see where that deal, if he does get it to take off, it really, really goes.
Oh yeah, but it's it's a good hub right there on I-80. I mean, you can get a pretty decent blend of northern and southern cattle there too. And you're not far from from that Southern Plains region. I mean, it's a ways, but it's not terribly far. And then you're just right there.
They still feed a lot of Mexican. I mean, you get a lot of Mexican cattle in that part of the world too, though, and you get a whole bunch of Canadians come down. Which anymore, that's that's a questionable act in itself, because one day you might get some furred up, nice, actual looking crossbred commercial Canadian cattle, and then the next load they'll have ears the size of dinner plates. And those cattle, they don't survive in Canada. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, that's they might be from Canada, but they weren't there long.
Yeah,
that's I guess on another small business note, Kelly Martin's got her buttonfly model of jeans out now. I'm wearing a pair of them right now. They're pretty badass. Not gonna lie.
Those are awesome jeans.
Yeah, I really like them.
I've only got one pair, but damn, I like them.
Yeah, they're awesome. So. Kelly's just she's a hell of a gal. I like the shit out of her. So even if they weren't as good at jeans as they are, I'd still probably buy them just because she's cool as shit. But they're really good.
I got a couple pairs that are 2 years old, still wearing them.
Hell yeah!
Damn.
That first pair that I
can't
had,
remember the last time I had jeans that lasted 2 years.
Oh no!
I can't tell you when I've had that.
That pair that I bought from her initially, I wore them every day for a year before they finally just kind of fell apart. But it was right. Every single day, and just I'd wash them at the end of the week, put them back on when it was Monday, and just every day for a year like that. And they finally, like, it's a little over a year, I guess. They finally just kind of fell apart. But that was kind of like my first test on them, just test run, just see how tough these things are now.
Even a year's awesome. Like,
yeah. And so I think if you
get a pair of Wranglers, like old school 13 MWZ Wranglers anymore, and shit, I can't even get 3 months out of those.
Oh, I know. So
jeans are a bitch.
I think if I put them back in like regular rotation, I could probably get 2 years out of them. So, and it's, I don't know, at a year, if you get a full year out of them, I'd say it's worth the $80, compared to the shit. Yeah, they're really comfortable. Yeah, I don't know. I just But I don't know. I like Kelly. I like what she stands for. I love that she sends out a pocket Constitution every time she sends out a pair of jeans. And I don't even mind that she's out of stock on like the popular sizes all the time. But she's like, I'm not going into debt to make more jeans. So when the money's there, or what I can buy, that's the amount of denim I'm going to buy. I'm not going to go into debt to buy a rail car. So, but the good thing is they last long. So just wait around a couple of weeks. She'll have them back in stock, and there you go.
Yeah, having a pair like them that are comfortable and they last, you can usually get tough, but then you're constantly having stuff that is just uncomfortable as hell. Or you get a pair of jeans that fit real well, and you get couple months out of them, and you spent $60 and did not get the life out of them. Yeah,
looking at you, Cinch. Cinch jeans fit really well, but they just don't last.
Yeah, I love Cinch green labels, especially to work, but they don't last.
No,
I don't think Kelly Martin is going to donate money to anti-Second Amendment stuff.
No, I'm pretty sure Kelly Martin's not donating shit to those groups. So,
yeah, looking at you, Levi's.
Yeah, that pissed me off so much because the Levi's 501 was like the best pair of jeans ever. Now I can't spend money on them. I can't do it.
Yep.
And that really pissed me off.
I wasn't a 501 guy, but I loved Levi's right up until that point. But I could never rock 501s. I'm too fucking long-legged. So the minute they got wet, they were wearing capri pants basically.
Yeah, and this whole deal, like if you're like promoting equality and whatever, like I'll roll my eyes and put up with it. But when you're spending money to restrict my rights, you can fuck right on off down the road. I'll find someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's worth the extra $30 a pair just to see it go to somebody like Kelly. Like if I gotta, we have a choice of who to give our money to, and I'll choose Kelly Martin over Levi Strauss every day of the week.
If you can come up with a rope guy that makes one that feels about as good as a wax cotton, but will actually hold up to dragging heavy shit on the trailer, I'll spend the money for that.
Yeah. See, I that's the good thing about working in a backgrounding yard. I don't have to worry about one shot wearing out my rope. It's I
broke a basically brand new 3/8 wax cotton. I think I've roped like 6 head with it.
That's
one took one trailer, and I didn't have a choice.
That's a pretty tough deal to snap wax cotton in general. That's a stout ass rope.
Yeah, they don't take the trailer loading though. Like, I mean, they're kind of like a poly. You can't, if you got one that sits and is real heavy on a trailer, they don't take it very well.
Well, and once they fray, they're done. They fray even a little bit and they're done. But if you can keep them from fraying, like I hate trying to drag shit out of the pin with when I'm roping. I love roping with a wax cotton, but I hate trying to take it out of the pin because you gotta get them up real short. Usually get a run at it and take it wide, just because otherwise, if it gets going around that post, and especially some of the old shitty posts that we have, that thing's done.
Yeah, they're not worth a shit.
I know. And then I guess if you're Dakota down there with a 30-foot rope, you don't mind it too much. They don't cost quite as much, but when you're spinning,
if he's buying 60-foot wax cottons, he's probably getting 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah,
he's got it made.
Oh, better than that. Now that I live in the land of acres and just go to the local team roping, and pick ones those 3 steers on and throw them in the dirt, I pick them up and I got a whole stack for free.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
When I in high school, I worked for Servies for a summer, and every time they had the slack, that's all you do. You just go behind the box there and you just pick up used ropes, and some of them boogers would only run 1 or 2 steers. And they just didn't have no money and toss it to the side. And hell yeah, free ropes, we'll take it.
Yeah. And those things don't last long, but hell, if they're free, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I just take them, tie a knot in the end, and put my horn knot on and go to work.
There you go. Yeah, I
can't be not in this game. You can't be picky.
No. Yeah, you don't really have that option when you're packing a long rope. They don't typically have many team ropers that just toss a long rope in the dirt on a regular basis. So you get to spend
that is true
$70 to $100 on a rope, and God, you hope it doesn't break or kink. I had one that spent $80 on it, and I think the first thing I did with it was pull a calf out of the bunk, and it kinked bigger than hell. Right in the middle too.
I used to buy them lap and tap poly nylon blends all the time. Loved them, but years for like 4 or 5 head, and it never failed. You'd pop a strand in one of them, and then you'd end up lopping 10, 15 feet of it off. And they got to be too expensive anymore. I just go buy the old extra soft kings, and you can't ruin them bastards.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have to rope anything real big anymore. So I go with the cowboy cordage, and I like their weighted poly a lot, and then I like wax cotton. But
yeah, I love the wax cotton, but it just if I would had a brain and remembered shit and chances of like, oh hey, probably should just tie one of my old ratty fucking nylons onto the side of the trailer, life wouldn't be as bad. But
yeah, that's all right. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Huh?
That requires proper preparation. So
yeah, that's usually not in the handbag of skills for most cow hands. It's usually just like, we're going now. Let's go.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess if you're going up to camp or something, that's a little different story. But like on a day-to-day basis, the preparation is what's first.
Yeah, that's about the way it is on this place. Everything can go to hell in a handbasket in a hurry. So,
yeah. Did you get everything keved out already, or you got a few stragglers yet?
No, we're done finally. So, I think we finished up. Our last calf was like 8 days ago. So, we just got a small little set of lates to brand yet. We'll probably do them next week, and then it's finished shoving shit to grass so we can go and fuck off all summer.
There you go. What's the country look like down your way? Pretty brushy down there, Dakota?
Oh, a lot of creeks, a lot of, oak thickets and stuff. And I think basically the biggest change is just like how small the places are down here. Like the biggest outfit that I know of in this county is only like 3,800 acres, something like that.
Oh shit.
So, which would have been like, a trap in New Mexico.
Yeah.
So, that's taken a lot of getting used to, like day working and stuff, I'm not arguing with it just because, you show up, you trot around for an hour and get stuff pinned and go to work and that's it. But it's just different, guys operate different down here. It's looking like I'm, not even going to get to drag a calf this spring just because nobody down here does it. So,
shit.
Well, come north. We're fixing to start all the head and heel brandings. We can get you busy.
Man, so I blew out of Texas and I went to Wyoming to work for a, sure enough, buckaroo outfit. Not going to name which one, but I showed up and, short rope, horn knot, bell leggings, and they were like, hey, you tie off, don't you? And I was like, yep, you bet. Only when I'm alone or when I'm with somebody. And they were like, well, in the branding pin, you're going to have to dally. And I was like, oh, okay. Golly, I didn't have a fingerprint left by the end of that spring. Just smoked them all off. But eventually I got to where I could at least like halfway do it.
Yeah, it takes a minute to.
Now that you're down there, Dakota, you got to ride like a little different type of horse since you're in a little smaller circles, not riding such a rock pounder per se.
Well, down here, everybody wants to raise the next cutter. So, and I ride a lot of cutters anyway. So I just tend to ride a lot of more cut and bred stuff, which is fine, but it's nothing like making those big old circles like out there on the desert or, being on the mountain permit for the summer in Wyoming or, any of that stuff. It's just, and it gets hot, humid and hot real quick. So you got to get around stuff and get it pinned and get it work before you just can't.
Yeah. Well, even
a lot of cattle too, though. Like, from a place that was just like registered and mostly down here, there's ears on everything, even dogs.
Yeah,
it's just part of it.
Well, I've noticed like the biggest difference between puncher to buckaroo is outside of the difference in the saddle trees and the ropes. The biggest thing is just like that mentality. Like the buckaroos, for the most part, at least out here anyways, they don't get in that big of a hurry. But like even back home where I was, where it was still, it wasn't humid, but it still got pretty damn hot. You get shit done as quick as you can before it gets too hot and your cattle don't work.
Yep.
And out here they're just like, we'll get to it when we get to it. And we'll this is what we got today. And if we don't finish up, we'll finish it up tomorrow. And it's just kind of, there's not that like sense of urgency like back home,
Yeah, when I was growing up, we really never had the sense of urgency because we didn't need it. Like in the summers, I spent it all on the mountain. So 75 was about as hot as it's going to get. But like over here, we're usually catching horses and trotting out at daylight and we're hustling because, well, like today, it's 88 and over here it's been uncommonly humid. So trying to hustle and get shit done, and it's a little different, but like this, the good old sand hills, Nebraska, no matter where you go, the ground's, 10 inches deep. So don't see a lot of like light bone cutters and stuff in this country. Everybody kind of rides some good old northern range type horses.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's different in various parts of Texas too. So like I was born and raised down here, and here it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's chaotic, but there's not as much order to it, I guess, than say like in the Panhandle, like a lot more etiquette, a lot more tradition. And down here, it's just like you're crashing through the brush and tearing around. And if you cut somebody off, it ain't the end of the world, and then you get out to like West Texas, it's just like, hey, everybody fan out and just kind of do the best you can. Okay, ready, team, break. Like that's it,
Yeah.
But by far and above, my favorite was like the Panhandle. Just a lot of really good, handy guys and a lot of etiquette. And the etiquette's not just there for looks or for the romantic part of it. Like it's there to keep stuff in line so that nothing gets screwed up. I wish
it's not there much anymore in a lot of places.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places like up in this part of the world. There's a few places like for us, we trot out and everybody, we drop you in a drive and, do shit right for a reason. And then there's other guys that they scatter like, as old Tom Hosen puts it, scatter like quail. And then it never fails. There's always something that gets missed in the gather, and nobody wants to follow the old etiquettes anymore. And it's a shame.
It is a shame.
Yeah. And it's like we sound like a bunch of get off my lawn type people bitching about it, but it is it's there for a reason, and there's the respect aspect of it, but like you said, the main reason it's there is so the job flows smoothly and it gets done the way it's supposed to be and nobody gets hurt. That's the outside of guy getting bucked off or something, but like minor injuries, you don't want anything more than a minor injury.
Right.
Yeah. Well, like the one thing, talking about Brandon's a little bit ago, you watched go to see snag and drags. And I remember when I was growing up, you went to a snag and drag, man. If you were a high school kid, you always rode the green colt at the Brandon to gather on, and then you was basically wrestling the whole time, and you had to work your ass off to even get the ass to rope. And nowadays, nothing pisses me off more than to see 60, 70-year-old men wrestling calves, and there'll be a bunch of high schoolers just standing off on the side, leaning against the fence. And then like halfway through the Brandon, they'll let them go in and rope calves, and those old guys are still wrestling.
Yeah. I don't know. And there's, and I guess it's just something I've got to get used to, because back home, if it was your cattle, you didn't rope.
You don't rope if they're yours. Yep.
Yeah. And that's a little different out here, I guess. And, I don't know. It's just something I got to get used to. That is something. Yeah. Like you worked your way up. You started building the fire. You rode the green colt that you had to plow rain everywhere. And then you flank calves, you wrestle calves, and eventually, if you worked hard enough, somebody'd ask you to go rope a few. And then once you got about 40 years old, maybe they'd let you handle a knife and cut a few calves. It's it just there was a set process, and maybe it's a little different just the few places I've been out here, but it's it's just one of those things. Like the guy that had that owned the cattle, he didn't rope. He ran the Brandon. He didn't have time to rope.
Yep. Like for our own personal Brandons, that's the way we are. The guy that's ahead of me, he usually runs an iron. And then if we got capable guys to cut, see, like in this country, everybody splits the bag and stuff. So some guys are really good at it. Some guys aren't. It don't make no mind to me. But we try to, if you're a young kid, like if you get asked to rope, that's supposed to be an honor and stuff. But
right.
It doesn't happen much anymore. But then like you go to the head and heel Brandons that are around here and they get crews of just like 8 or 9 guys and then everybody ropes and you're just in a rotation. So it's different strokes for different folks, but I get the point in both sides if you're running a small crew, but I mean, I've done it both ways, I guess. So don't try to do too much there, but
there's nothing better to attend than a good head and heel Brandon, especially like when you got the guys that can really throw the fancy vaquero shots, that's usually right off the bat. But if it's my cattle, I just as soon just flat ass them because it just goes quicker.
Yeah, my deal on them, like I run some of my own cows here. My deal is if you're gonna brand them and flat ass them, still keep the cows in them. Yeah, keep them calves settled down. But there's a lot of guys that they can't rope inside cows. Like as far as healing them, just not capable enough ropers. But I do love me a good head and heel brand, especially with the right crew.
Yeah, I do too. It's fun. Yeah, and I'll never be like the real handy roper. I like to try every now and then, but like it's just that it's a try. I like watching those guys that are like sure enough Riata men that I just like can just float out those just really, really, really fancy turnover loops. It's those are fun to watch.
Yeah, I know a couple people that are that way. My little brother, he can really chunk the twine, but I'm more of I can get him ropes, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I've got to be pretty decent with a backhand just because I use it all the time in the feedlot. But like if I had to blow to one, probably gonna need at least 2 loops.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, I just don't blow to them anymore. So I got it's almost foreign to me at this point. So I guarantee if like I had to just like had a neighbor cow out or something, I get him caught, but it might take me a minute.
There's Ben. Into it.
What's that now?
I said you're going to turn a foot rod into a pneumonia.
I'll make damn sure he's hot.
Hey man, a foot rod is still the fastest land mammal on this earth. I swear.
Story.
Especially
you were
if you're
3 left a minute ago. Now you just hit Mach 9.
Oh no! And then like if you're trying to head and heel him, as soon as you get a head loop on him, all of a sudden his rhythm goes to shit and just drags his feet. And you're lucky to pick up one. Yeah. Ben, what the hell are you up to, buddy?
Oh, I'm riding fence. I'm actually burning daylight.
Fucking A. Fucking A, right.
No, I got your invite. I really appreciate it. I was like, oh shit, I hope I make that.
Where are you at?
Really shitty service and all that. Conversations don't change through Montana. I'm not in Idaho anymore. So I'm just back on my neighbor's place today.
You're in
Yeah.
Right on.
But yeah, we were sorting out today. This morning it was just hotter than hell. It was like 103, and so we've been going in mornings and evenings, and trying to let them rest in midday. Man, it was gnarly today, but oh well. Part of it.
How close to No shit. We're all just fucking around drinking beer.
Well, if it's any consolation, I was doing that in the middle of the day. So,
well,
yeah.
Fair enough. How far are you from Canada? Because you must be fairly close.
Probably. Well, I'm about 13 miles south of Fort Peck, so probably under 200, about 200 miles. So, kind of, if you look at a map, straight south of Malta.
You're starting to sound a little Letterkenny-ish.
I'm an accent sponge. Yeah, I was guiding a bunch of guys from Nevada this spring for bear, and I was like, oh shit, I wonder if they know Matt McKinley, because you're in Nevada, ain't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, these guys were all from Delco. They were all sheep outfitters and gold miners, but they're pretty cool guys. I was like, dang, I might have to go to Nevada someday if everybody's like this. Holy shit.
Well, really, once you get outside of Reno and Vegas, Nevada's pretty fucking rad. I mean, it's big, open, not much there, but it's pretty good people.
Yeah. Kind of how Montana is once you get out of Missoula. Oof.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of America in general. Once you get outside the city, as America's pretty fucking rad.
So funny story about Missoula, Montana. They have a bicycle lane in the town there. My dad, so my uncle graduated from UM with a bachelor degree in college, and we all went out there for it. Mind you, my father, he's just a cowboy down here in Nebraska, Wyoming, like never been in it, see nothing like that. And he's hanging out the window trying to door ding bicyclists in Missoula because they wouldn't get the hell out of the way.
Like a good patriot.
Damn right.
Oh shit, it was terrible.
I always loved watching the gang of bicycle riders there in Fort Collins. They'd be like waiting to cross the street early in the morning. And of course, ag classes are always first thing in the morning. So it's just nothing, like just one diesel after another, just rolling coal right in the face of all these bicyclists. It was glorious. Enjoyed
just
it.
Just like the forefathers intended.
Exactly. Brings a tear to your eye. Just brings a tear to your eye.
It's what them damn colleges get for making all us ag kids have to get up that early to go to class. They know, we're up on
like we want to drink beer and fuck off just like everybody else. Like we know we're gonna have to get up early. Give us a break already. Like we know we're gonna have to get up and do that shit early once we graduate. Let us have our time, all right?
So the one consolation is at least you get to roll coal on the fucking cyclists first thing in the morning. Ruin their morning too.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. It was terrible. I was along the Salmon River for 2 months, and I get out and I'm straight to Missoula. I'm like, anxiety attack. It was awful. And on Memorial Day weekend, I'm like, shit, I'm used to, I got my daily routine of driving in a jet boat or riding a mule. And I'm like, oh shit, there's bicyclists, there's hippies, there's Priuses.
A jet boat or a mule?
There's a lot of hippies there too.
I mean, that's a pretty good flex when you're at the bar. My two main modes of transport are mule and jet boat.
Believe me, that was used.
Did you get laid? Because I mean,
yeah, I know.
Damn it!
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Cool life.
R.I.P.
I wanted to late. I wanted to get home.
Four-way stop.
I was like, I need to get out of this college town before I get arrested or something. I don't know, but.
If he'd have said that would have worked, there'd have been a bunch of single cowboys listening to this, writing that shit down.
I've only used it once and on a bartender, so that was kind of less than optimum situation. I think in the right setting, it'd work really well. But oh well.
If you feed her enough booze, she'll eventually like it.
I'm always a little bit leery asking the ladies what their social media handles are, because I'm like, there's a bunch of dirtbags that listen to this show. I really don't want me to be the cause of somebody getting creeped on, but I haven't had.
Yeah, the next morning they just all of a sudden wake up, check their Facebook, and there's 300 dick pics.
I know it. I know. I always give them a hard time about it, but like that always is in the back of my mind. I was like, I really hope they don't end up with a bunch of creepers in their DMs. I really hope, but luckily I've got a good audience and they haven't done that. So that's good. But there's always I'm sure it'll happen one of these days, but I always worry about that.
Dakota, were you feeling guilty that Ben's still working, or are you trying to shape shoes right now too?
I was just kind of dinking around right now. I didn't know I was being that loud. My bad.
I was like, shit, now we got two people that are making me look bad.
Well, I mean, I'm still ready to roll. Shoe box here stands right there. There's a whole pile of shoes up there behind the beer. So, yeah. I mean, we could roll one in here right now.
Hell yeah. That'd be a first, I think. I mean, I've done a lot of feedlot work and recorded at the same time, but I don't think we've ever had a horse being shod live on air. So, I mean, that'd be something too.
You can do it right though, Matt. Just be like one of them Dale Brisby videos on how to shoe a horse, and as Dakota's doing it, he's just talking you through it. Yeah,
I could.
The problem is, I know the guy that did that one for him, Bryce Chapman.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a really good guy.
He seemed like a cool
actually
guy.
Does know what he's talking about.
You could tell in that video I was watching it. He was kind of getting some flustered because you could tell he was kind of a go-getter and was having to slow down.
Yeah,
that dude goes 90 miles an hour all the time.
That's
he
funny.
just does, but maybe next Thursday we could shoe a Belgian in here.
Yeah, I'm game. I'm game.
They only weigh 2,200 a piece.
Hey man, go big or go home.
That it?
Yeah.
That it? Shit.
That's it. They're not that big.
Yeah. Just little fillers. Little fellers.
They make me look like a little kid.
But,
you don't hold their foot up; they hold you up with their foot.
Yeah, no shit. That's what size of shoe that wear?
Like a 10.
Jesus.
God damn.
I got two that wear, one wears a size 3 and one wears a 4, and that look like dinner plates to me, just trying to tack iron on.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything bigger than
like
a 2.
It'd be like a 10 in the front and a 9 in the back or whatever. But those shoes are a half-inch thick.
Do you have to put them in stocks, or isn't like, do you just go at them?
No, these ones are real good. Just staying. I mean, they're pretty broke. We hitch them a lot. There's three wagons and buggies inside the barn right now. Like inside the other barn. We're out in the shop right now.
I got a buddy of mine. He shoots for a bunch of them trail ride places in the Black Hills in South Dakota there. And they run them so much on a big old table, and then they just strap down each foot and shit. He just goes at them, but they pay really good, so he takes it. But but I always said if a guy had a set of like mobile stocks down here, he could probably make a pretty good living. But if I have to run something in a set of stocks, I really don't want to shoe it anyway. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and trail rides are a big deal down here. Like there's one that happens every year that'll have 1,000 horses, going down the road. And it'll stretch out for a few miles, and there's always some hellacious wrecks. But if you know how to tack on a shoe at that deal, you can make you some money.
Yeah, no thanks. It ain't worth it.
Yeah.
But drink a lot of free beer. I know that.
That was the one thing I always said I'm real fortunate for. I learned how to ride colts, and I learned how to shoe. So if I'm ever starving, I could always revert back to shoeing, because I can't cuss the colt starting because I still do it. But
right.
I kid kudos to you guys that can shoe for a living, because I got to really talk myself into tacking iron on one of mine.
Well, it's funny. Like today, I stayed here at the house just shoeing all like of my own stuff, and I thought Sarah was going to have to pull a gun on me to get me out of the house to go shoe. Like it was going to take me back to Congress. And finally, like I get all mad, like fine. And she's like, "If this had been somebody paying you, you'd have been there an hour ago." And I was like, "Damn, you got a point." But maybe that's why.
Hey, I've always been told that you want to know how good a shoer you have, go look and see how shitty his own personal horse's feet are. Because if he's worth his weight in gold, his horse's feet ain't getting done.
Oh, dude, I had one out here that was just, man, it was bad. I thought I was going to have to take the loppers to him at first. He's standing on iron now. It looks a hell of a lot better. But I was like, golly, I got to stay on top of that shit a little better. Hey, mechanics' cars always break down. Horse don't shoe their own horses. It's just part of it.
It's just a circle of life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same way with riding colts, though, because like when all my shit, I'll show up riding one of my personal horses, and I'll have a bronc ride and a half and ride a complete shitter, and you ride the nice one. They're like, "Oh, where'd you get that one?" Oh, he goes back to his owner next week. Like,
yeah,
right. That's the same with me. Like, turn out some. They're pretty good horses, and then I go day work, and I got a colt that I've just kept on the back burner for, I don't know, he's 4 now. So the past 2 years, and try to ride him. And they're like, "How old's that horse?" They'll be like, 2 years ago. Start laughing. I'm like,
"You're doing better than
don't
me,
judge me." They're like, no, you're all right. We know.
I had one. I bought him as a 4-year-old, and I finally got to get some consistent riding on him by the time he was 7. Because he just kept getting put on the burner because I couldn't say no. Every time I'd get a colt and I'd get some time, I'm like, sweet, I can go to riding this booger. I'd get 5 or 6 colts, and I was like, shit, I can't say no to money. So he just kept back out on the meadow, and finally his like coming 7-year-old year, I was like, I probably should start riding this son of a bitch and do something with him.
Right. Yeah.
And then you're dealing with a 7-year-old.
Man, is because the money is all there.
Yeah. Oh, people are asking you to show up to a Brandon and you're Jihan, this 7-year-old snaffle bitter. But it's like, how many rides you got on him? I was like, 30 in the last 3 years. Like,
yeah.
Speaking of snaffle bits, guys, you're going to like this one. I don't know if you've heard it. I've advertised it a little bit, but for the Patreon giveaway in June, we're going to give it away on the 4th, but Matt Wilson's going to make a Merca snaffle bit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're giving away. You gotta sign up at the $5 level or more. And but yeah, it's
I gotta look and see how much money you take from me every week then or month, Matt.
I told him I said just make it Merca as fuck. Other than that, I don't know. I said just I wanna see what he comes up with. That's gonna be badass though.
I thought that was really cool that you gave Boots your old Vaquero on the T-Rex bit.
Yeah. I'm glad he liked it. I'm glad he's going to use it.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a cool guy. Like,
that'd be one guy that like anybody that's cowboyed for a living would want to sit down and just shoot the shit with him.
Yeah, that's just cool country there.
It really is. I enjoyed driving down there through that because it's just right there on the, most of the way down there I was in Oklahoma, but 2 or 3 miles off the state line, but it's just really neat country, kind of a lot of rolling hills, a lot of brush. And it's neat.
See, I've never been down that far. I've never been in Texas, but well, I guess one night we got drunk at Panhandle and ended up in Stratford. So I was like 10 miles into Texas or some shit. Yeah. But that's as far south as I've ever gotten.
It's neat country. And it's that 4.6s is an impressive place. But it's funny who you can always tell, or I could tell from when I was, when I mentioned that I was going down to the 4.6s to talk to Boots. There's 2 reactions from people in the cowboy world. It was people like, "Oh, I can't believe you're going down to the 6s," and then there's like the working cowboys are like, "Oh, I can't believe you're talking to Boots." Like, like the people that are like that are like working cowboys are like, "Heck yeah, you're going to talk to Boots," and then like people that are kind of in the cowboy world, but they're not working guys, are like, "Yeah, the 4.6 is going to be awesome," which they both were awesome. Don't get me wrong. The 6s is fucking cool, but the 6s will be there for a while. Boots won't. Yeah. I mean, at one point, Boots going to be gone. And, every time he introduced me as his friend from Nevada. So that made me feel pretty fucking cool.
Oh yeah. Every time you talk to him, you hear his stories and stuff. It's like every year, before even you were talking to him, you'd see like an article in him in the Western Horseman or something. You just always wonder how many more years can he keep going?
I know it. Well, and like getting to meet him and shake his hand and, just watch him in his natural environment, he still gets around good. He's just sharp as a bell. And just, I don't know. It sounds like they're probably going to let him stay on, which, I mean, he's a publicity gold mine.
Oh yeah.
So they'd be stupid to kick him off the ranch now. They'd just honor the agreement that Miss Ann gave him, said, just let him die there. But I don't, he's just, that is, I truly think that's going to be like a historical character that people talk about for a long, long time. And I am very, very, very fortunate to be able to have these conversations with him. It's pretty damn cool.
Well, and I like that you're like recording all those conversations because it's literally like recording oral history, Like there's never going to be a guy that you could talk to that has seen that much, like that much change in the ranching world.
Oh, I know it. There's, I don't think there's a couple guys I've been told about that are from that era, but haven't necessarily stayed at it like Boots has, because nobody has. But I'm gonna have Mackie Hedges on the show here in the near future. The guy that wrote The Last Buckaroo, confirmed he'll be on the show. He told me I had to read Last Buckaroo first before he would come on the show. I talked to him on the phone for close to an hour. That's a cool guy too. Dude,
I shit you not. I used to be a bookworm, but I'm not anymore. But that Last Buckaroo, I've read that book probably 8 times.
That is such a good book.
You start reading it, you just I can sit and just read that some bitch. But the second one, the Shadow of the Wind, that's told vice versa to Dean. Oh yeah. Dude, it's just as good.
I'm started on that one, and once I finish that, then I'll have him on the show. But I figure if I gotta read both of them, and so I can do it justice when he comes on the show. But I think that one might be another one where I can have him on recurring, and kind of make a series out of it. That's
anytime anybody asks me about any books to read, that's like the first one I tell them, go read Last Buckaroo if you haven't.
Well, and then like when you read the foreword that he put in there, and really what he's doing is something that I could do with Boots later on down the road. Because he was telling all these stories from the point of Tap McCoy, who was a real guy. And you read the foreword on Shadow of the Wind, and that guy was 90 years old when Last Buckaroo was published. So it's kind of the same type of deal. So I'm going to ask him about that, but I'm excited about that. And Mackie Hedge is a badass. I've been visiting with him on Facebook. I talked to him on the phone for about an hour. And but yeah, as soon as I get through Shadow of the Wind, we'll set it up. And he only lives up in Winnemucca, so I might just jam up there and
hell yeah.
I can get it set up with microphones and everything and record it in person. That'd be cool too.
He'd be a cool guy to meet. I bet he'd be a lot of fun to just, like I said, he'd be another Boots just to sit down and drink coffee and just listen to the stories.
I'd like to get a bull session with my dad and Boots and a couple of other old guys and just have them tell old war stories. What'd be cool about something like that is if you had like Boots and then he was able to get like a Glenn Shelley or somebody like that. Yeah, or Lynn Babb or something like that.
Somebody like that, yeah. Then just let them go and just talk, then just sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah, I say I'd like to get and then like kind of the generation below them, like Scott Halls and like that, get a bunch like Scott Hall and Matt Wilson and a couple others and get them on a bull session. And that's really the cool thing about this, the bull session is that there's so many good stories in the cowboy world. And it's hard to just draw them out of somebody, but if you get a little bit of beer flowing and you just get to shooting the shit, then somebody will remember this story about this horse or that one time we were crossing this river or whatever. There's just something will spark a memory and you get some fucking epic stories out of that.
Oh yeah, and there's a guy. Jim Mabe is his name. My buddy Chase Thrall that lives out there in Nevada, his wife, that's her dad. And Jim's one of my favorite guys. He grew up around Glenn Shelley and worked for Merlin Root when Jim was just a youngin'.
Yeah.
And he always talks about Merlin telling them boys, he'd go over the hill and tell them to get that old cow helling down the fence. And then boys being right out of high school thought it was all about how Merlin took his dallies because whenever he'd take his turns, it was smoking the horn so bad.
Uh-huh.
And he always was packing beef liver and was running that liver down that riata so that way he could have it fresh and smoke the horn on them boys. And they always thought it was something special about how he took his turns.
That's funny. That's awesome. No, my dad, like he punched cows down in the Oklahoma Panhandle and like Western Kansas, and he was kind of on some of the early days of the feedlot business down there, and he's got some pretty good stories. Wheat pasture cattle there in the Panhandle, and then going into the feedlot. Did you ever read Hank the Cowdog books? I'm sure you guys did.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So John Erickson was a college classmate of my dad's.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I've been in contact with John Erickson. I'm going to try to get him on at some point. I tried before, and it was kind of like at the beginning of the pandemic, and and I never did hear back from him. But we'd emailed back and forth a little bit. But I'm going to try to get him on too, just because shit. How good was Hank the Cowdog? I mean, let's be honest. That was I bought a whole bunch of them for my kids, and reading them to them now, it's fun. There's so many jokes that I missed reading them when we were growing up that are so much funnier now.
Oh yeah, no, I probably have 25 of them boogers still when I was younger. I used to buy them
70 something of them.
Yeah, I haven't even touched the collection, but they're all good. They were always good to read.
Hell yeah!
I've been on John Erickson's place.
Oh really?
He lives right there between Perryton and Canadian.
Yeah.
And I was there the night his house burned up in the big fire.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. We're just below it. I ran into like 30 heifers that were about to get burned up, and I was just spraying fire and spraying cows and spraying fire and spraying cows. And managed to save him, but his house burned to the ground.
Oof.
No,
that's a rough one. That was what here, like 3-4 years ago.
That would have been 20,
or was that the 2012 fires?
That would have been the spring of 2017.
Okay, yeah. So that was the second round of fire, because 2012 was the real big ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2012 had a bunch of fires.
The biggest ones.
Yeah.
Oh, was
2017,
it? Okay.
2017 was like way bad down south, because they lost a lot of lives of people trying to save livestock down there. But then 2012, like Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Montana, they was all lit up.
Yeah,
most of the year.
Yeah, I my good buddy Clint here a couple of years ago had what did he say? I think he lost like 30 something heifers. Luckily the house didn't get hit. But a couple houses just right down the road burn up. But man, there's something different. Like these forest fires out here are gnarly, but those prairie fires, man, they just take off so damn fast.
Yep.
Oof.
And they run and run.
Yeah. It don't take any breeze. If you got just the slightest gust, it's about impossible if it gets the right wind to get in front of them.
That one that Clint had was, and it was just the worst possible conditions. It transformer shorted out, and it was in a CRP field, and it's 70-mile-an-hour winds, just about burn out, and then the wind shifted, jumped the road into another CRP field, and it burnt 50,000 acres in 12 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was.
I saw a bunch of pictures of them fires down south. Like up here, we never really lost as much. I mean, we lost some livestock in 2012, but it wasn't as bad as like 2017. But we saw there was always a bunch of pictures. I'd seen guys coming up on, just herds of cattle. But I always wondered, because in 2011, South Dakota had them really bad snowstorms and lost like 70-some thousand head. Mm-hmm. Well, I was up there and had just gone up there and was helping out and was just trotting around. If you found somebody's cow, you just loaded him and took him to the sale barn, and then the brand inspectors kind of worked it out. Yeah. And you'd top into a little gully or something, and there'd be 100, 150 just stacked up, and they just drifted in. And man, that's a weird feeling. Like you can ride by a single and stuff, and it still hurts. But like, even if you don't even know who they belong to, you top in and there's just 150 or so laying there dead. Man, even just 50, like it's kind of a hard feeling.
Yeah, you might see 8-9 different brands on them. And
See, that deal was funny. The old timers up there, they blamed the newer generation for worrying too much about their fences. Them old timers, the old timers, when you go up there and get their coffee, they'd be in there cussing and saying that was the problem. Is up there, like on what, your fence is real good, so when them northerns come in, them cattle can just drift with it and just keep going over fences. But they said they built their fences too well, so all they do is go hunt the low spot and then they'd bury in.
Makes sense, though. I mean, makes sense. Maybe good fences don't make good neighbors.
It gives me a good reason not to fence.
It sounds like it might be cowboy justification, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll run with it.
Damn right.
Damn right.
Yeah. I think that's, I don't know if I have any idea if that's true, but I want to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's wild how I don't know, especially like when you get to listening to how other people make a living, and it's a little different way of life. When you're solely dependent on animals and weather, and hopefully that people make the right decisions in the markets and whatnot, man. Like,
it's different now. Like, I always paid attention and stuff in the business, and always, because it meant something to me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's all I've ever known. But man, when you get your own cows, holy shit! Like, every day I'm sitting there going, please, Lord, let the calves be $2 when I sell this year. Like,
well, it's funny, like when you get to thinking about all of it, especially if you've been like where you said it, your own cows, or if you've been in a managerial type position, like you realize real quick that keeping the cattle alive is the easy part. It's everything else that is what sucks.
That's what makes this fun whenever you want me to be on the show, because especially like tonight, like Dakota, he's clear south and stuff. It's cool to hear how those guys kind of do stuff differently, and like I said, it's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, like I said, that's the favorite, my favorite part of it. Like I've interviewed some fairly big name people, and I'm proud of those. But like my favorite conversations are always either a bull session or it's just another cow hand, and it's swapping stories like that. That's what makes Boots conversations so fun, is because, and I think that's the reason he keeps doing it, is because I have some of those same stories. I don't have the wealth. I don't have 72 years in the saddle yet. So, and there's a good chance I'm probably not going to. But I still have plenty of years in the saddle, and I've got stories that I can relate. And I think that's, I don't know. I hope maybe that's the only reason he keeps doing it. But
that's 72 years though. That wasn't riding just gentle horses either. Like, he rode some straight up shitters.
I know. We're gonna get into that a little bit more. But I had somebody ask me the other day if he's going to be a regular spot, and I told him I'll call him on Sundays, and if he answers the phone, I'm recording it. And and there might not, like, there's been a couple weeks, and I'll probably put him out just because. And it's been like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that, and I might just, when I get a couple of those together, I'll string it together and make a full episode. But I think the more you can hear of guys like that, I mean, it's good for our way of life, our business, our everything. I like the fact that we can have that on record I think that's important. So if he's going to answer the phone on Sunday, we're going to have a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can't go wrong with guys like him. Like I said, that's a guy that he's been on the wagon. He rode rough string when rough string was really a rough string. So.
But I know it was hard to hear in the episode that I, when I was there in person, because I'm sorely disappointed about that. But when he's talking about turning the wagon over in the bottom of the Paladuro Canyon, crossing the Canadian River, I mean, and all he did was drop the reins so he could finish rolling a cigarette, and it was a string of ex-bucking horses that were broke to drive but were far from gentle. And he passes the chuck wagon. The cook just tells him to bail and turn it over in the bottom of the river. It's like that. There's not very many people on earth that could say they've witnessed something like that, let alone been part, been the one in the driver's seat there.
Yeah.
Like, and even like throughout history, there's just not that many people that can say that. But let alone today, I mean, probably
even through history, there's a lot of people that wouldn't have lived through something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And like, if you would imagine, say 30, 40 years before that, had he done that, they'd probably just kicked him down the road and he would have had to hoof it back to fucking Amarillo or somewhere, you know?
Yeah. Well, what makes like those so enjoyable for me, like I've rode colts since I can remember. Well, with him, it didn't matter. Like when he was doing them, it didn't matter how bred up or nice or gentle they were. None of them were. But always the one he's talking about riding broncs and snapping off some bad ones. And I'm sure Dakota's got horses the same as you or I do that you've rode one that was just, I mean, miserable. Mm-hmm. And you're like, yeah, fuck it. He can go to the killers.
Yeah.
And there wasn't the such thing as that. Like when Boots was a kid, they just had to keep riding them shitters.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of one of the cool things, reading that last Buckaroo when they were talking about on the res down in Arizona. And, it is ended up 4-footing that old paint like 4 different times before it finally stood still. And that's just what you did. I mean, like but it's also funny on those big ranches because like down there at the Sixes, I've got a bunch of pictures of some of the mares there in the cowboy string, and those horses just on the general open market are going to bring minimum $6,000-$7,000 minimum. Yeah. But every one of them's got a job brand. They don't. It's still kind of an old West outfit, and that's pretty cool. You know, it's being as high profile as they are. You'd think they'd shy away from the job brands, but they don't. Every one of those Sixes horses has a job brand.
Don't they? Doesn't 4 Sixes provide the horses for the World's Greatest Horseman colt deal now?
I think so.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the World's Greatest Horseman. Or not. Is it the World's Greatest Horseman or is it the other one? Road to the Horse. There you go. Yeah. That's the one. So yeah, they do.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's cool how they've preserved the old style, to a certain extent, and I hope the new owners will too. I think they will. Kind of looking at who bought it, I don't know. It's still Hollywood though that bought it, but I don't know. For as ridiculous as Yellowstone is, it's a pretty goddamn good show. So I don't know. It makes me wonder what that thing's gonna turn into, but hopefully they just let them keep it how it is.
Just let them cowboy and make you money and be done with it.
Yeah. Well, at that point, those guys are making so much money. It's just like, hey, don't lose this money and you're good to go. Like,
yeah.
But no, I don't know. It's crazy world.
Weird. Like you see guys like that with their awesome Bermudas and stuff. It's cool to see places like that still have really nice horses that specialize in really nice horses.
Yeah.
Like I know some guys out in Nevada that work for some camps. There's some ranches that supply horses, and you're not riding good ones. Like
no.
But it's a different mentality too. Like when I was out there at Kiowa, there was, I took a really broke gelding that's seen everything, picked up and all that, and he sold really good. But there was a guy there that he kind of brought they were good looking, big, soggy geldings, but every one of them, I mean, like that morning when they tacked him up for the preview, there was horses blowing up everywhere, just complete and utter chaos. And
hell yeah, he's for sale.
Like he had
I ain't never done that before.
Big soggy blue roan horse there that some bitch bounced off my trailer like 3 times throughout the day. I mean, just a bronc. And he let some guy that was wanting to buy him try him out. And that sucker was the last time he bounced off the trailer and just chili whopped this poor Coloradan guy. And this horse runs off down the way and they get him caught. And I was like, so what's he going to cost? He's like, I don't know. He's pretty broke. He just sometimes loses his shit. It's like, I can see that.
Well, like, I mean, Matt, you've been there. You've seen it. When you're rolling in from the north and you're getting right down to the headquarters and there's just horses everywhere and on both sides of the highway. And you look out there, like, I can't tell you how many times I've almost had a wreck right there in Guthrie because I was staring at horses so hard. Everyone, you're like ready to auction off a body part so you can go get him.
Yeah, like it's a good thing those horses are as expensive as they are, because I walked in there knowing I couldn't afford shit.
Yeah. The place I worked for in New Mexico, we did a lot of business with them, and they'd buy bulls off of us, and we'd trade around on heifers with them and stuff. So we were kind of going with their back and forth. But every time I went over there, it was no horses. Just leave your wallet at home. Yeah. But pretty neat place. Pretty neat.
The guy I worked for in high school, that's how he paid for his bulls. He'd get his bulls out of some gal in North Dakota, and then part payment on them bulls was she'd bring down 2 trailer loads of just trader shit. Like, but that's what us high school kids, we had to ride them colts and get them going. And that was payment on some of them bulls. Like, from everything from 8-year-old studs to just straight up 3-year-old res runners
just
and
junk.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah.
Really good.
The good ones, the
good kind,
the ones that everybody wants.
Yep.
Yeah. And on that note, we'll end that for the main show. We'll if you guys want to hang around a little bit, we'll shoot the shit a little bit more. But TeJay, sign us off, buddy.
Move your ass, folks. You're burning daylight.
Boom.
Rounding off bolts since the age of 14. Was out of 5/8 or 9/16. So got a metric socket that don't quite fit. A little wiggle, just a little, but it ain't quite stripped. Safety guard's gone from his grinding machine. He got a stiff paintbrush, he only sorta got clean. He's the hired man, my neighbor, and a cousin-in-law. He's a jerry-rigging fool, he got the tool for the job. Well, it's a vice grip suppliers, and pliers for a wrench for a hammer. Hammer's everything else. It just don't seem to make much difference. I sure do like him, but he's hard on equipment. His corners ain't square and his floor ain't level, and he's had a little trouble with the old tape measure. His doors don't close cause the jam ain't plumbing. He's a goddamn menace with the air nail gun. They love to see him coming at the lumberyard store. Fix the leak in his roof with a 2x4. Drills holes in the boards with the wrong kind of bit. When they don't line up, he blames the government. Well, it's a vice grip suppliers, and pliers for a wrench for a hammer. Hammer's everything else. It just don't seem to make much difference. I sure do like him, but he's hard on equipment. He got the whole front yard full of fix-em-up cars. Well, 3 don't run and the rest won't start. Well, everything's fine with his rebuilt motor, except of course for the couple spare washers left over. Baler twine tie downs going down the road on 2-ball tires and an oversized load. He ain't never read the manual, cause that's like cheating. He don't mind the grease on his hands while he's eating. Well, it's vice grip suppliers, and pliers for a wrench for a hammer. Hammer's everything else. It just don't seem to make no difference. I sure do like him, but he's hard on equipment. No, it just don't seem to make much difference. I sure like you, son, but you're hard on equipment. busted up knuckles. His thumb got bruised. Oh, Jesus Christ! I was a carpenter too.